Let them know with Joe season 2, episode 5. We got a very special friend of mine guest here who's from Seattle, Washington, but now reigns in Sydney, Australia. The famous Mr. Dr. Chris Newby.
What's good? What's good? Thank you for throwing the doctor part in there. Not many people
Yeah.
know I have a doctorate
Yeah.
in being a badass. So,
Bro, I got to tell you
thank you.
something that happened today. So,
Yep.
I was texting you earlier, just letting you know we're getting ready and all that. And I said, I'm waiting to buy the new PS5, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, on the Walmart website, it was saying, it'll be available at 12 on November the 12th, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm refreshing, bro. I'm like, I gotta get this. It's 12 Eastern, so I'm in Pacific time. So I'm trying to refresh. It's like 9 p.m. here. I'm refreshing.
Yeah.
Doing it for like 20 minutes, bro. And then like it says supposed to start at midnight, which is 9 here. I'm refreshing. And then I realize it says 12 p.m., not 12 a.m. So it's at lunchtime. Eastern Standard Time. So I was legit refreshing my browser for like 20 minutes, bro, waiting, like just refreshing it. And I was like, what the heck's going on? And it turns out it's 12 p.m.
Surely there's a way they know, like, there's this brother trying to, like, get in on this PS5. Let's just hook him up or something.
Bro, I tried it. I posted on my Twitter. I was like, hey, PlayStation, I know I'm not like a celebrity or whatever, but hook me up with the free PS5 and I'll shout y'all out on my Twitter and my IG. No
Yeah, and I'll literally be a fan for life.
Come on.
So
yeah.
I'll literally be giving you thousands of dollars for
Right.
the next. I'm 30, 31. I'm literally giving you thousands of dollars till I'm 70.
Legit.
Because that's the way the world's going at the moment. So they missed out on a moment. Xbox Series X it is.
Well, did you hear what happened to the Xbox Series X? They're smoking. Nah. Like they're already giving off smoke, bro.
Oh, they've really done lost the war.
They don't want the smoke, bro. They don't want the smoke.
They don't want none of it.
They don't want the smoke, bro. Oh man. Cool. We got Chris Newby here. He's sipping on. What are you sipping on right now?
I'm sipping on a little Shiraz from let's see where this is from.
Talk to me.
From the Grove Estate in the Hilltops region near Young. I don't know where that is.
Is that in Australia?
I'm just saying it like yeah, it's in New South Wales somewhere.
So what?
It's nice.
Yeah. I like red wine. So for those of y'all that might be listening for the first time, we usually have a cup of Joe, but it's pretty late here. It's 10:23 p.m. here, Pacific Standard Time, and it's probably like what 5:23 over there.
Wow, how far out. Sydney never left your heart, I see.
Well, I had to figure out the times whenever we were going to do this, so I knew what time it was going to be over there. So 5:23 over there, Thursday p.m.
Yes, sir.
You're in the future. So I'm drinking.
I am in the future.
I decided to follow you, and I'm drinking this Campbelltown single malt Scotch whiskey.
Nice.
It's very smoky, and I really like it a lot.
Okay, you like the smoky ones. All right, nice.
Yeah, it's really good. I definitely like it a lot.
Like, when did you get into whiskey, or are you still trying to get into it?
No, I've been into it for a while now. It's probably there in Australia, to be honest. That's where I got a lot of my taste buds, I guess. Whatever.
Oh, skirt.
Yeah, because I that's when I started drinking coffee too, over there. Because I never drank coffee, I didn't like it, but everybody went out to go get coffee all the time. So I'm like, yeah, cool, let's go. So I'll get coffee, and then I would get like a freaking flat white with 4 sugars. And then there's a lot of sugar. And then little by little, 3 sugars, 2 sugars, 1 sugar, no sugar. Good. And then went to just a flat white, and then went to they call it long black over there, but it's Americano here. Mm-hmm. And now I just drink Americano with black coffee, and that's where I kind of like started drinking, whiskey, of course, after college, not during college in Australia.
I drank during. I'll throw that out there.
Yeah, I drank during too. We probably drank together, to
Yeah,
be honest. But you know
what are
what?
we doing here?
It was a great time. We had fun and loved every single part of it. Chris Newby,
Yeah,
I met you. I met you one of my first days when I first moved to Australia at Palm Beach in Sydney, Australia, and yeah, that was a crazy time because you were like at $0 in your bank account trying to live your life there in Australia, and I just moved there with like
still.
yeah, still to be honest, yeah. But man, you came through it. How's Australia? How's it going over there?
Australia's good, bro. Like everything's mad chill over here, especially with like coronavirus. I feel for people back home, feel for people around the world, but out here, honestly, it's just not as big of an issue at the moment, which is great. We went like a week with 0 cases anywhere, countrywide.
I saw
And
that.
so it's a good time. I mean, Australia is dependent on other countries in a lot of ways. So even though they're doing well in the COVID sphere, they're still struggling in a lot of ways. But it's awesome, man. Like I feel for people when they're like, man, I can't go this, I can't go here, I can't go there. I'm like, out here, you just go wherever you want now.
Are you still wearing masks?
Nah, we don't wear masks.
Dang.
People do. I'll wear one once in a while, depending
Yeah.
on like how crowded it is. But I even went to a game a couple weeks ago. It was All Blacks versus Wallabies game, rugby union game, and nobody was like. There's like a couple mask wearers, but most people were not wearing masks.
And
And it was
packed
raining out too.
stadium.
No, I think they had limited seating, so you definitely had space in between
Right.
each like group of people. But no, it was sick. It was dope just being out, being able to do that with friends, and I've been to a couple shows in the last week,
Man.
which is crazy. But it's real awkward though because they are sit down shows. So they have tables everywhere. Back in the day, you just mosh, you rub against each other,
Right.
sweat,
Can you
tears,
can
everything.
so since there's tables, can you still at least stand up during it and like kind of you know
No. So this is another thing. Everywhere you go, like bowling alleys, if you're at a concert, anywhere where there's like drinks served, you have to be sitting while you drink. You cannot be standing.
interesting.
Why that prevents coronavirus from spreading, I don't know. But hey, they're doing all right over here. So I'm
They're doing
going
something
with
right.
it.
They're doing something
going
right
with
over there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Texas got 1 million cases as of like yesterday or today. It's crazy, bro. I think my hometown like area is like the highest county with the most like coronavirus people.
Golly. See, yeah, that is actually real. I was talking to a friend, because he was like, "Man, would you ever move back right now?" And I'm like, "Oh, maybe like me and Amy toss around this and that." He's like, "Man, it's a dark time to be moving back now. Maybe wait a year or two." I'm like,
Yeah, I'd wait, bro.
well,
Legit.
golly, it felt like I was in a Batman movie or something. He's like, "It's dark times."
Bro, legit it is, man. It's like it's crazy, bro. Just even like with the whole like you got the virus going on, but then you also have the election going on, and then you also have the people who are going for either side that are going on and just going crazy and trying to. It's crazy times, bro. It's legit crazy. Like, yeah, man. I don't know. Were you able to vote?
I was able to vote. I had the easiest voting process. Every time there's an election, I just have to register. I still register with my home. I don't own a home, but I still register at my dad's address. Really easy to do. It takes me like 2 minutes, and then I get my ballot via email, and then I have to print the email out and mail it in.
Oh wow!
It cost me $0 as well. God bless Washington State. I was talking to a friend, and I told him the other day, I'm like, bro, you spread, I think you lying. But he's like, man, I hope everybody's doing well back home. He lives here. So I hope everyone's doing well back home. But this election, I voted. I'm proud I voted, but it was crazy because I had to pay like $40 just to send my vote in. And I literally I messaged him right away. I'm like, bro, you either spreading fake news or Missouri's got to be the worst state in the union, like by far. And that's what you call voter suppression. And I actually don't. I was like, I don't even believe you. Like, I want to see the $40 receipt if that's what we're talking.
Did he show it?
No.
Dang.
So my man's
crazy.
I don't think it was real, but that's what he said on his
you think he was lying?
story. I think he's bullshit, honestly.
Yeah.
But he said, nah, bro. He just kind of laughed about it. So, hey, man, who knows?
Do you think he's a Trump supporter?
Do I? Yeah, man, maybe. I don't. He might be. Bro. I don't know. I don't think he supports. I don't think he supports either of them. So you get this a lot too. I don't trust nobody. I don't trust no politicians.
So I'm not gonna vote.
Nobody. I'm like, damn, you don't trust nobody? Like, you okay, man? Like, what?
Who hurt you? Who hurt you?
What people do to you? Let's talk about it, bro.
Bro, it's crazy,
like,
man.
Far out.
Yeah, it's it's pretty ridiculous, man. Like, I voted. I did the mail-in ballot, but I actually you got the mail-in ballot, and I went and dropped it off at the place. Of course, it still costs you $0 to do, even if you were to mail it out, because they already has like the whatever. It's just so crazy, man. Just to like, to be here in the United States of America and then watching the election go. You're just sitting down watching it. Seeing the map and seeing that dude like do all the math and all that stuff the whole time. He was hilarious, bro. He was hilarious,
bro. Yeah, and you switch over to everyone, and you're like, bro, you're talking in some weird code right now. You're talking counties I ain't never even heard of. Bro. I didn't know Texas had so many counties. When he's counting them, like, oh my gosh, like
it was crazy, bro.
I find that stuff like nuts.
And so like, I'm watching it, and then you and myself and a bunch of our friends from like we're in college, we're in a chat and we're texting and all that. And some of them were like, hey, I think Trump's got it. I'm like, nah, bro. I think Biden's got it, bro. And then one of my friends, he was like, nah, I'm going to bed. He's got it. I'm like, all right, whatever. And then the next day.
I was definitely one of those guys.
Yeah,
I just didn't say that.
You were, and then Ryan was the other one.
Yeah.
And then I was like, nah, I don't think he does. And then of course, like the next day, you start seeing these other states that haven't been voted through yet. They start changing and all that. I'm like, man, this is crazy. And then you get the announcement 2 days later, I think, and like.
No, it was like 5 days later.
Was it 5 days later? No.
Yeah, because the election was Tuesday.
It was on Tuesday.
We didn't find out till Saturday.
No,
really? Your time. It was because it was Sunday. I woke up Sunday.
That's true.
And I saw he won, and I whispered to my wife, I'm like, Biden won. And she just went, okay. And right back to sleep. She's like, oh, all right.
By the way, because his wife is from New Zealand, so she probably doesn't really care too much about this. I'm sure she does, but like not to the point.
Oh, she cares.
She does.
This is something I do want to touch on. Like people out here care. People, I'm telling you, more than I've ever seen before. Not that I've lived overseas for.
I lived in Australia whenever Trump got elected, and that was a weird time too, because I'll be honest, I didn't vote in that one because I just didn't like.
Sorry.
I guess I just didn't take the time to try to figure out how to do it from Australia. But yeah, that was a weird time because people were pissed over there and all that. But I can only assume, like, I can only imagine how much more they cared this time. Like, what are they saying over there? What are their thoughts? Are they saying, do you think that we're crazy over here?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, not everybody. So, mind you, I'm definitely one of those guys that I'll say a blanket statement, but I don't mean literally everybody. Sorry, this is a mosquito.
Bro, you're good.
Just about everybody here is like, I don't want to say everyone is, but a vast majority of people you talk to, they're like, what were you guys thinking? I'm like, don't look at me. I ain't vote for that. Well, I almost said something. I ain't vote for him. But hey, look, it is what it is. I always tell people, hey, it's probably not as bad as you think, and it's not going to be as good as you think. I'm going to tell you that now. Trump ain't a bad person. He's not even a horrible person. He's not great, but I'm not going to call him a bad dude. Like, he's awful. He just didn't do a good job. So
you don't think he's a bad person?
No, I think he's got some views that I don't agree with, and some views on society and people that I don't agree with, and women that I don't agree with. But I try to stay away from like he's a bad person, because
Right.
once you say someone's bad, oh, you've just opened up like a whole debate with somebody,
Right.
because then they're like, nah, he's great. It's like, okay, slow down, slow down, slow down. Like, I can at least list a few things that I'm like, oh, that, good things that he's done. But to me, I'm like, these other things just outweigh it, like, hey, so I can't rock with the dude.
Yeah,
Probably
that's
ever.
fair. For those that are listening right now, I did take off a jacket and put it on because it got kind of cold in my room. That's what you hear
Oh,
in the
really?
background.
Man,
But
it's hot here. I'm not gonna lie.
oh, bro, it's getting cold here in the Bay. It's always cold here in the Bay, but now it's getting colder because we had our they call it the Indian summer here in October, and it just got really hot during October, and so now it's just kind of really cold. Let me ask you this, Chris. Do you want to tell us who you voted for?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay, who'd you vote for?
In the 8th district of Washington State, I voted for Jesse Johnson.
Bro,
and
I don't care about them. The presidency, man.
I'm playing. No, I voted for Joe Biden.
Okay.
Him and Vice President elect Kamala Harris.
Cool. Since because you said that you don't say that he's a bad person, so what kind of like, if you don't mind me asking, what made you kind of go towards Joe Biden more than Trump?
Yeah, easy. Well, first, on a just philosophical level, I'm like, it's been a crazy 4 years for
Wait,
people.
but you're a Christian though. You can't vote Republican.
I do it.
I mean, sorry,
want.
you can't vote. You can't vote Democrat.
Oh, the babies. Oh, sorry, that might be a little too far.
We'll cover that in a bit though, because I want to talk about that.
No, that's fine. To me, I look at, hey, we've had a crazy 4 years. Yeah, it's been really intense, the media coverage and all this stuff, but I think it's fair. The sort of criticism our current president has gotten over the last 4 years, because he's done a lot of controversial things.
Right.
And when you do controversial things, you get in the news more and more and more and more and more. And that's literally our last 4 years. So on that level, I'm like, I'm just over the circus and over having to like hear this dude talk crazy all the time.
Bro, I was talking to one of
it's annoying.
I was talking to one of my housemates. I was like, I can't wait to actually see a regular press conference. Like when they address like the press, like every time Donald Trump was there, it was just like you couldn't even get anything done. You couldn't even chat or hearing what happened.
Yeah, I had people tell me like, oh, it's the most intense criticism any president has ever had. And it's like, but it's all fair. There's a reason it's that way. It's because of his demeanor, the way that his personality, the way that he runs the country. It's going to be like that. Barack Obama wasn't as in the news all the time because he's not out here trying to start shit all the time.
Right.
So that's why. But people are like, man, why you guys give him such a hard time? Like, because he's being a dick at times. So we have to.
Yeah.
I'm not here to be overly critical of somebody unless it's deserved. If you do a bad job, we're gonna say, like, people will say something about it.
For sure.
So in this instance, you didn't do great. So that means it's gonna be more intense, the coverage that you have, because it's not great.
Yeah.
But other than that, like Joe Biden, I'm actually really curious to see if he's going to do some of the things he says. Obviously the racial equality part is really big for me, and not just for like for context, I am African American and Asian American. So shouts
From
to
what part of Asia?
Harris. Philippines. So my mom was Filipino. Dad's African American. And I'm a sad case as well of a lot of African Americans out there who don't know their actual ancestry. So don't ask me what African country. I hate when people say, "What African country?" Like,
ask that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But with that sort of background, I'm like, I would like, racial equality and chances for, any person of color, because that's generally people from South America, people from Africa. People from Asia, they aren't given the same sort of opportunities in different degrees and different ways, of course. But you can't sit here and tell me it's not it's not unfair in
Yeah.
a lot of ways. And so that was really important for me. The schooling was really important for me. He didn't go as extreme as Bernie Sanders was wanting to go with
Right.
going free schooling for everybody, wiping out student loans and all that stuff. But at least he was doing something to address the $1 trillion deficit that we have of student loans in the country.
Bro.
Like, bro, we only got like 300,000 people in America. How we got $1 trillion in freaking student loan debt? It's crazy. So I'm like, you know how relieving that is for a young person to be able to have some debt wiped off,
Bro.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's crippling for a lot of people. And so
100%.
I thought I think President-elect Joe Biden will do something in that regard. Maybe he's not going to wipe everything off, but at least he's doing something to help out. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And with the coronavirus, it's going to be a hard time. It's going to be a rough, like, I know it was really dark what he was saying. Like, it's going to be a tough winter. It's true though. Like he's not lying. So,
well, bro, it's crazy because you have the coronavirus. You have people having to stay home. Now it just got the time changed, and we're staying. And like by 5:36, it's dark, and you're like,
yeah,
people are gonna get depressed. People are gonna get sad. I even get sad sometimes, and I feel like I'm a good person, and I have some joy in my life, and I'm still getting sad sometimes. It's like I can only imagine people that maybe are really have depression and all that stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah. And the thing is, at the end, like, the president is there, obviously, to, I guess on surface level, run the country.
Right.
But more than anything, president is like, or more than a lot of things, the president is there to set a really good example for people. And when the example that you're seeing isn't a very good one, it's like when kids grow up and they like have really, they become grown-ups and have bad tendencies in certain areas.
Right.
Like they learn a lot of those things from just the example that they're given. So at this moment, people aren't being given the best example. And so therefore you're going to be stuck in the same cycle until mindsets start changing around what's going on, and not just for a certain part of the country, but the whole country. And it's not going to be everybody you're going to end up agreeing with, the way that they handle the coronavirus going forward. But
yeah,
hey, look,
it's going to be crazy to see what they try to do because, just already, we have people complaining for masks, or whatever. And I'm just like, what else are they're going to try to do to change this? Like, I'm cool with masks. I'm cool with stuff, it does suck. And this is so bad for like the small businesses because they're getting hit the most, and it sucks, man. I wish, there was some things that we can do or figure out what we can do. And hopefully they're thinking about that too. There's other countries that have been able to pay, a lot of the small businesses and all that and help them out a bit. I'm not sure what else we're going to be able to do for that, but yeah, that's tough, man. So I'm just, I'm curious to see what's going to happen with trying to stop the coronavirus or trying to slow it down and whatnot. Like here, we were starting to go up and like open more stuff and all that. And then just yesterday, they announced that we're not going to have any more indoor dining at the moment because they were starting to do it and we can't do it anymore here in the Bay Area. So it's kind of going back down, man. It kind of sucks. Movie theaters I miss the most. I was able to go to the movie theater the other day, but it had to be further out because they don't have it here in the Bay Area.
What'd you watch?
Tenet was fire, bro. Did you watch it?
I saw it twice.
Bro, it's so good, man. You know what I like? I like going with people that can think well too, because afterwards we like sit down and we chat about it and like, bro, this is like, oh, bro, I didn't see that, but that's fire. That makes sense, Yeah.
The second viewing, you definitely catch on to a lot of things that you didn't notice the first time. I think I might watch it a third, like again in the theater because I think it's still playing, but it's like by that third time, the trick, it's like the magic trick that you figure out. Like, oh, I know actually the tricks now, so it's not quite the same. But it was a sick experience, like viewing experience.
For sure. Thought. I agree, bro. I saw it in IMAX, so it was really good. I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it too, and I love when people try and do something like new, something original. Yeah, it wasn't a perfect movie. Yeah, it wasn't like the best movie I've ever seen, but I always bump somebody up for giving something to like a try.
100%.
And trying something fresh and new. So shouts to Nolan. Put me in your next movie, bro. I'm ready.
Bro, I didn't know so I try to watch these movies without seeing a trailer or anything before because I don't want to know what's happening or what's going on. I didn't know that Denzel Washington's son was that the main character.
Yeah, Denzel John David Washington. Shouts. I think he played for the LA Rams now at one point.
Did he?
Fun fact. Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea.
College running back. He was decent. And I'm pretty sure it was the Rams. I could be wrong, but I'm willing to bet not much on it. Maybe like 50 cents, to be honest. But
That's fair.
he's a great actor. I was actually really, really impressed. He's been in a few movies. I've been really, really impressed by just kind of his small portfolio so far. But what he's done so far has been really, really good. And so, yeah, it was cool having him in the movie. I'm also a big, I don't know what it is. Ever since I was like maybe 21, 22, I remember watching Twilight and thinking Edward, whoever that dude playing Edward is, that dude is about to be big. Like,
you thought he was a good actor in Twilight?
No, I didn't think he was a good actor. That's the thing. I just thought, usually
big.
Coming off these movies, guys just do this, and that, and this. But he ended up becoming like a dope actor and
he's good,
and
bro.
doing those things. It honestly becoming one of my favorite actors.
I'm stoked to see him in Batman.
Yeah, I was gonna say all the way to being Batman.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. Hopefully, man, it turns out really well. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. So John David Washington played at Morehouse. Shouts. Signed with the St. Louis Rams as an undrafted free agent in 2006. I only remember this. You know what's really funny? I only remember this because I played Madden every year from like Madden 98. Not even kidding. And I remember John David Washington in that game. And it wasn't until later when he popped up as an actor, I'm like, I know that name. Where do I know that name from? Oh, he was in the football game. But I didn't think, oh, that's Denzel Washington's son.
Right.
It just all started like connecting.
How old is he?
Like, oh, snap. He's 36. 36.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, it looks mad young, but yeah, he's old.
Was he the kid that played in John Q or no? Or was that just
I don't know. I don't know what happened to that kid. Might need to pour one out for him.
Man, I'm pouring out right now.
Bro, that movie's sad.
Bro,
when she's running to the door and she's like, "Stop!"
Yeah, bro, that was. I need to watch the movie again. It's a fire movie. I saw that when I was a kid, so you're like, dang, that was a pretty hectic movie to watch when you were young.
Yeah, mad hectic, and it's really funny looking back now, like how weird of a silly of a movie it is in a few ways. But man, in the moment, you're like, man, this is so sad.
I feel like it's a good movie, but
get him a kidney.
I bet if we watch it right now, it won't be that
Heart.
good of a movie. Yeah, Heart.
No, definitely not. I will go. I mean, I'm looking right now at the Wikipedia, and Mike, the son, the actor don't even have a page. So I'm gonna say he didn't do much after that. Done. So. Pretty much.
I watched Man on Fire the other day, and I thought that was a great movie, and it still is, but it wasn't as good as what I thought when I first watched it back in the day.
No,
it's still a good movie, but
good movie.
Not as good as when it was. I don't know how we got to this, but
I don't remember. I will say this, just going back. Sorry to backtrack.
No, you're fine, bro. This is
I was cracking. It was really funny, like the whole. Just go back to the election, how it went like heavy on one side and then it just kind of kept this guy kept slowly winning. That right there is I think it's a very memorable moment. I think someone's gonna make a movie out of that in like 30 years. It's gonna star like Brad Pitt, old Tom Cruise.
Legit.
or old Brad Pitt and we need a big dude.
Who would be a good Trump?
We need a big boy. We need somebody. It needs to be like a.
I was gonna say what's his name. The one that played on House of Cards, but he's.
That might be a little too on the money.
Yeah. Kevin Spacey, right?
Kevin Spacey. Yeah. That might be a little too.
It might be too real. Like
too on the nose. Yeah, you got ladies crying in the theater, like, whoa. Sorry. Sorry, my bad.
Bro, House of Cards was fire though. I loved House of Cards.
Hey man, House of Cards hits. And that first season, amazing. Awesome.
Bro, when he spoiler alerts for those that are gonna watch this if you haven't watched it, when he pushes her into the subway, that was I was like, what the heck? I did not expect that at all. I loved it, bro.
I think
Like,
if I remember correctly, I was getting bored with the show at that point, and I was like, oh snap,
bro,
my man just killed somebody. All right, I'm back in. Okay.
when you kill off a character that's like big in the movie or in the show, like freaking the Red Wedding.
Oh, come on. Hey, man. I don't want to get emotional on this right now.
Bro, when I saw that, I was,
Yeah, wow.
man, yeah, wow is real, bro. I was flabbergasted. Like, I don't use that word lightly, but I use it for this because I was flabbergasted when I saw that.
Yeah, Red Wedding is one of those. I still remember watching. I still remember watching that episode.
Same.
It was
Same.
It was right before I moved to Australia. I remember it was like late at night. I'd been hanging with some friends, and I was the only one into this new show called Game of Thrones. I had been watching it profusely at this point. It wasn't until like maybe season 4 where people like I started watching with a group of friends.
Right.
At this point, I was still like in my closet, like watching it because all the Christians back home were like, "Nah, they got sex scenes. You can't watch that." But
which I hope you prayed for forgiveness after you watched that. But cool. Yeah,
I did. I'm
cool.
pretty sure I received forgiveness as well because the Lord is kind.
Sure
But I remember getting home late at night. It was like 11, 12. I was working at Starbucks at the time. Probably didn't have a shift the next morning because my boss hated me. Shouts to her. I hope Kate hears this. It'd be really funny.
Kate, for listening, he's mad.
She ain't listen. She don't care.
Bitter.
She'll see me on something.
Better, bro.
Yeah, that's it. All right, Kate. I forgive you. I remember watching late at night. It was probably like 12, 1 a.m. something. I'm like, I gotta watch this new episode of this show. And I remember seeing it and just my jaw dropped all the way to the floor. And then it dropped some more down to like the concrete slab underneath the house. I was so shocked that they would kill Robb Stark like that. Bro. They would do our guy like that. And you think it's one of those moments where you think it's going to be a triumph. They're going to go to the frays. They're going to get some help. And then they're going to march towards the Lannisters and, take it back. He's the rightful king in this moment. But then they flip that on his head quick, bro. And Walder Frey, savage, but respect. Like, respect. All respect.
That was a big. Oh, hold on.
Ah, you good. Filch from Harry Potter, everybody. Filch. My man's is going in on everybody. So, and the poor wife, I can't even remember her name. Oh. You good?
Hold on, bro.
I don't like that look on your face right now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think I lost my audio recording.
When, just now or like
it
a while
crashed,
ago?
Yeah.
Oh, just now? Okay. Do what you got to do.
No, it's okay. I'm just going to.
It should auto-save.
I don't know. Well, I use a different thing. If all else fails, I can just use the recording on
Zoom?
On Zoom, yeah.
Yeah. Or just start recording from now and then.
Yeah.
It'll be clean.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, so that was a crazy show. I loved it. I watched it in Australia because I'd heard of it, but I didn't really watch it ever. I didn't know much about it at all. And then I think maybe you or some people told me about it, and so I just kind of like binged it for 1 week, all on Netflix, and killed it, bro. It was great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, that ending was rough, but hey, the rest of the show was so good. I'll give you a pass. So, shouts to they were supposed to like write a Star Wars series or something. And apparently they like backed out. Yeah, DB Weiss and David Benioff, but apparently they backed out.
Interesting.
But I'm like, hey, look, let's go with the evidence. David Benioff, DB Weiss wrote an amazing show based off an adaptation of a book. So it's gonna be, and that book is well known in the fantasy, for all the fantasy heads out there that love this book series. Song of Ice and
Did you read it?
Song of Ice and Fire. Hell no, it's still sitting on my shelf back here. But these two, took a great show. They wrote a great adaptation of it, TV show. And when it got to the point where they had no more book to go off of, the show literally went from like one of the greatest shows we've ever seen to literally watching like a Lizzie McGuire final season.
Hey, come on. Man.
Actually, I love Lizzie McGuire. I'm not gonna lie. Hilary Duff shouts. And it just went downhill from there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, these guys, they're good at adapting something, but they aren't that as good at coming up with their own,
Right.
They're still good. I'm not saying they're bad. They can do it. They just probably aren't as good with coming up with their own stuff. And so it might be for the best for the Star Wars heads.
True. We were talking about who you voted for. I wanted
20
to
minutes
ask,
ago.
I wanted to ask you a question about it though, because I wanted to hear your opinion, your thoughts on it. Have you encountered anybody that people have said, or you've asked them why they voted for Trump, and they said because he's more of a Christian, hold on, let me see, because I messaged somebody and asked them about it. I'm like, hey, I was really polite about it. I was like, hey, if you don't mind me asking, like, why are you let me see real quick. Hold on.
Yeah.
I was like, can I ask you why you voted for Trump or why you want him to win? You don't have to answer if you don't want to, just want to know.
Nice.
And then she was like, yeah, I can, but before I do, may I ask you who you voted for? And I was like, I voted for Biden. Shout out, people, if you didn't know that. And she's like, okay, well, to each their own. But the reason I voted for Trump was the morals behind what he stands for and how it aligns with the Bible. And she's like, may I ask you why you voted for Biden? And I was like, wait, what? I mean, I didn't say that on there, but I was thinking in my mind, like, what morals or like what? I don't want to get to argument with her, but so I kind of explained to her why I voted for Biden. I'll tell you in a bit. But have you encountered anybody that has said anything like that? And like, have you talked to them about that or asked them and have they said anything back at all or no?
Not too often out here.
Yeah.
It's more people back home.
Yeah.
Out here, being in Sydney, people will point to the finance world, especially, and the line of work that I do. People that are in my workspace are like, they can't vote because they're Australian, obviously,
right.
But they're like, yeah, I think Trump's actually great. He's really good for the country. But I'm like, oh, that's fine. They're coming at it from a certain angle.
It's interesting because there's an Australian that I know that lives here. And we're chatting about it too. He doesn't really know too much about politics, and so helping explain stuff and all that. But his view of politics for this is like, Republican is more Christian or more like whatever. And he was saying or he was saying that we need to like implement stuff here in the United States, like Australia, such as healthcare, how healthcare works here compared to Australia, and me and my friend were talking to him, and we're like, bro, that's actually more democratic view, socialist view, more than anything compared to like the Republicans' view of like wanting to keep it, pay for your own and all that stuff and things like that. And so it's kind of crazy just how people don't really know, even understand or even look up stuff of why they vote for who they voted for, And so this girl that I was chatting to, she asked me why I voted for why I voted for Biden. And I was like, cool, I see. It's like, yeah, I voted for him for a few reasons, and I put a few reasons down. I was like, one would be his thoughts on immigration and how it's very different from Trump's. And that's a big thing for me because, being from Mexican background and stuff like that, seeing how they've treated and how they've handled these immigration stuff like that has just been terrible, and I hate it. And not only that, but it's just like, as a Christian, the Bible even says that we should, bring people in and give them, bring immigrants in and, protect them and bring them in, to help them and all that. And that's a very Christian view for that. And so for me, but more than that is just like, these are people's lives, and people are being killed, and people are dying, and kids are being separated from their families and all that stuff. I'm like, that's a big thing in general already. And like, how could you not? And the thing about it is, this girl, she's Mexican, and she she's in the USA illegally, or she was, but she got like her papers and all that stuff. But she didn't come herself. Like her parents brought her and stuff, so she had no control over that. But it's like, how can you be someone from there and not see the issue, how big it is? Just that one issue, it's a huge one. So I said that, and then I was like, number 2 is just taxes. How and the way that Trump has created the taxes, and how it's helping a lot of the rich people. And cool, I get that, whatever. But what about helping us, like the hardworking people that are, whatever. So talk about taxes. And then the other one was the way that Trump has handled racism and the virus and all that stuff here. And that's a big thing for me, because I haven't necessarily experienced racism, but I have seen it with some of my friends and stuff like that. And, I had stories, and just even on my other podcasts, I've heard people talk about that and all that. And so for me, it's a huge issue. And especially living in Oakland, you see it, you're around it, you encounter it a lot more than what I would in Plainview, Texas, small town like that.
Right.
And so it's a real thing. And people from other towns, smaller towns and other states don't realize how real it is and stuff like that. And so that's a big issue for me. So, and the way that Trump never helped it. He didn't help to create unity. He created more strife more than anything, more disunity than anything at all. And so that's another reason why I talked to her about that. And then the other one was abortion. And I wanted to talk to you about this too. And
hot.
Yeah, it's definitely a hot take, and people are definitely, well, Christians vote Republican or for Trump because they're pro-life, or they don't want abortions to happen. And I'll say this by far, I really don't agree too much with abortions. It's not black and white for me. It's more gray, because there's situations, there's things people have. There's stuff that happens, and so you can't just put a blanket statement on like whatever. And so for me, my thing is this though, is that people that are voting to not let women have their choice are just voting for that and then leaving it. Well, not people, Christians. I'll go with Christians. So people that are not Christians do whatever they want, but Christians are voting for pro-life because they don't want abortions to happen. But yet, how are they supporting women in these situations? Are you providing for? Are you helping to provide? Are you helping to help the women that you don't want them to have an abortion? So are you going to help them? Are you helping them like with finances? Are you helping them to? Are you adopting people? Are you adopting kids? What are we doing except just voting so that they don't have the access to do something, but we're not helping them furthermore? Like, that's a big thing for me. I'm like, we're supposed to be the answer as Christians and help be the answer for this, but and my big thing is this is my big thing about abortion, is like, as Christians, we weren't called to put our morals and ethics on other people that don't believe in God. We weren't called to do that. That's not what the Bible says. So when we start to try to make laws to control people to do things that we believe are ethically right or morally right, that's not cool. And that's not what we're called to do. We're called to be the answer. We're called to help people walk the journey with them. And when we just say a blanket statement of like, hey, no, actually, you know what? You don't have a choice in this because we want you to not have a choice. That becomes dangerous because we're trying to control people to do something that we believe is right, And so, or not we, but Christians in general and stuff like that. And if anybody wants to have a chat with me about this, definitely would love to.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, you about to get some emails, boy.
Yeah. I know. I probably will. But it's real. It's real though, because like for me, we were never like, the Bible doesn't say, hey, go and make laws to control people to do things that you believe are correct or morally correct or ethically correct in your point of view. No, the Bible says to go, first of all, two commandments that Jesus says: love God and love your neighbor. You know what I mean? And how can we love someone that's been raped? How can we love someone that's struggling financially to have a baby? How can we love someone like that? Provide, be there for them, walk them through the journey, not go and cast a vote to not let them have a choice. No, we got to go and be the answer and help people out. And so for me, it's an ongoing conversation, and it's not black and white. It can never be black and white in this situation. It's going to be gray. And so those are my biggest thoughts on that. You know, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, not to go into too much of it, like at the end of the day, there's a few things. I guess when people, use that particular like topic as their basis for who they vote for, like all power to you. But I think you miss out on an opportunity to do a lot or affect a wider range of issues when that's the only one you're thinking about. It's like there's actually heaps of way bigger issues in this world, and like God's not gonna like. I don't believe God will like reward you for standing up for this one thing when people are going hungry out there,
or these children are being separated from their parents.
I'm like, I just don't believe that. You know, I guess I would want to know what's the end goal here? To save children? Okay, like for me, people who are anti-abortion are the last people to come up with, like you said, any sort of solution towards the issue. So usually people who are anti-abortion don't want sex ed in schools. Yeah. People who are anti-abortion and stick strictly with, the teachings of the Bible, they're like anti-contraception even. Like, no, our government taxes shouldn't pay for condoms. It's like, okay. So to me, I think it's a deeper issue than, abortion, because when you have zero solutions for it, it's not that can't be it, It's good. Because if it was an issue or frustration in your life, you'd figure out a way to fix it. So from what I know, they have no ideas on how to fix it. The Christian community, for the most part, it's like adoption. I'm like, yeah, that's great, but there aren't very many people raising their hands to adopt either. Yeah. Like, that's not despite what you might think, that's not like a big overarching, like a big organization of people like, yeah, we'll take every child. That actually doesn't really exist. Not to say that there aren't people, of course there are, for sure. But abortions it's a tricky one, because
it is.
At the end of the day, it's like weed, it's like heroin, it's like cocaine. People are gonna do it, like whether you say it's illegal or not. As we experienced in college, or you can't do certain thing, people will do it regardless of what your opinion is on it or what you say about it. And so you actually make it more dangerous in a way, especially with abortions, because then people are out there getting illegal abortions, and then you're sitting there like, oh, it serves them right. And it's like, well, are we pro-life or are we not pro-life? Yeah,
you know what I mean? No, and that's real, because I've seen that. I've seen Christians post on Facebook when a black person got killed and said, well, they should have just obeyed the law. And I'm like, wait, what? You're a Christian and you're saying that they deserve to get shot because they didn't obey the law, or not even that, because they didn't obey what the cop was saying, or they didn't just lay there and let them do what they wanted. Yeah. And I'm like, wait, what? That's not a Christian. Yeah. That's not a Christian. No one ever deserves to be killed. Like, no one. Like who gives us the right to choose who to kill and who to stay to keep alive? That's not our choice. And I don't know, man. I question people's, like, it's hard not to, but it's like the Bible says to love your enemies, because Jesus says, it's easy to love those who love you back. It's easy to give to those who can give back to you. Even the demons do that, even all this stuff does that. But to be an actual Christian and to love Christ, you got to love your enemy. And that's one thing that I think a lot of Christians might skip over in the Bible, is like, no, you got to love those. And to say that someone deserves to be killed is never a great response ever.
No. And I always just think of the thought of if it was your daughter or your son and, they told you, yeah, she was resisting, so they shot her. In no instance, would a parent be like, yeah, cool. She was resisting.
Listen, they should have. Yeah.
She was resisting. My daughter was resisting. My son was resisting.
Wow.
They deserve. They should have been shot. Then, yeah,
Wow.
you're absolutely right in this instance. That's not not a reality, or that's not a realistic thought. Like when people bring up that point of view, it's like, no, that doesn't work. It works maybe in your mind in this situation, but if it happened to your child, I'm like, I can't even fathom any parent in the world, like not even like at least across America, not even one that would be like, yeah, my child deserved that. It's like, that's not, it doesn't matter what they did. Oh, my child had a knife, so you shot him? Oh, it doesn't work in any sort of scenario that you think, like, try thinking of. Bro. And so it's easy. Yeah. To me, I look at it as the Christian community has to really think hard about I don't know what they're trying to get across, because right now they look like they're being super petty in a lot of ways.
100%. Bro.
We're voting for this party because we've always voted for this party, and they are on the right side of history. And we're like, well, let's look at facts here. The Republican Party is a vastly majority white party. Yeah. And their vast majority were against civil rights, and they're for voter suppression and all these things. It's like, to me, I look at the overarching themes of what's going on. I'm like, I just can't vote for it. If there were things they were doing in the community to stave off things like racial inequality, or people getting gunned down in the street by police, or trying to help people who want to get abortion, giving them options, or trying to help them in some way, or doing sex ed in schools, then I'd be like, oh, maybe they're actually doing a good thing.
Yeah.
But at the moment, there's none of that. Yeah. Like hardly any of it. And so, and backstory, like, I started going to church when I was like 20. So late in life, I had like a lot of worldviews already set, ready to go. And no one could tell me different. And going to church, and the church I went to was like 99.999% white. I was the only color kid, like around, like bouncing around. And you honestly look around and you go, man, a lot of these people don't think the same way as me, which is actually quite beautiful in a way.
It is.
But it's used against you in a lot of ways as well. Yeah. Like, hey, you can't think that. You got to think this way instead. Where it's like, hey, when people start saying like, you should vote for this person because of this, that means you're automatically if I look at you, Joe, and I go, Joe, you should vote for this person because blah, 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 blah. That automatically makes you go, damn, I'm a bad person for not voting for that person because he said I should be doing this. I must not be doing this right. So when people start throwing, you should do this because, this is what we believe. It's like, no, you're automatically making me feel like I'm a bad person for not, which is not true. So like, one, it's not true. And two, it's not a very large logical argument. And so like looking around, like we've put too much stock in like three things in society and gone, yeah, God is going to be so proud of me because I'm anti-abortion. Like far out. Maybe I'm not anti-abortion, but like, maybe God might be proud of me too one day. I hope so. Like far out.
I'll tell you one thing. God won't judge you by what you vote. Well, I think maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's a big statement, but I don't think God's going to be like, man, you're a sinner because you voted for Biden.
Yeah. The thing is, I'm like, we're not even like the Christian church in Germany voted for Hitler. Like they were all for him. Yeah. Let's remember that at the end of the day. So it's not out of the realm of, I'm not calling, sorry, I don't want to sound like I'm calling Donald Trump Hitler. My point is Christian church does get it wrong sometimes.
100%.
That's what I'm saying.
We see it now, even to this day, with so many things that are coming out,
Totally. And it's
But
not me saying like y'all suck because you did this. You're horrible but it's to go, hey, look, sometimes y'all do get it wrong, and it's because you're human.
exactly.
And that's fine, you know. So.
And for those that are Christian or non-Christian, just that are listening to this right now, please, if you have any questions or you have anything, hit me up or even hit Chris up. Like,
no, send them to Joe. Send your questions
legit,
to Joe.
Come to me. Like, I'm down to chat more about this and hear your thoughts. But like I said, it's not black and white, these situations, and to say that it is, you know, you're putting that. I think you're just kind of like. It just can't be black and white, because every situation, every person is different. Everything is just, you can't just go, you know, and not like whatever. Hey, Amy, whatever. But anyways, yeah, that's all we're gonna talk about for that. I think we spent quite a bit on that.
Oh, bro, I got like a list of things I want to. No, I'm just okay.
Let's move to sports, because for those who don't know Chris Newby, he's really into sports, knows a lot about sports. He's definitely a guy that I'll go to ask questions about different things and all that. I did want to ask you though.
Wow.
I did hear a video, or see a video today actually, of 10 players that if they don't win a ring, their legacy can probably be tarnished. Can you name those 10 players that they told me? Their
legacy is tarnished? Who is this devil person that wrote this article?
Actually, let me see exactly what they said.
I could probably name them, but my gosh, that's a big,
not tarnished
big call.
No, if they don't they need a ring to save their legacy, is what they said.
To save their legacy?
Yeah.
Wow. Anthony Tolliver is way up the list then. My gosh.
He wasn't even mentioned. No, that are playing right now.
Yeah, and that was a joke, by the way. I don't think you missed that. My bad. Playing right now. They do not have. I'm gonna guess. Like, just judging by the title of the article, this a-hole probably listed all people that are like 25 and above. I'm gonna go that far.
Not necessarily, but yeah.
Really, they're gonna talk about under 20. Okay,
no.
So I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, that's what you meant. 25 and above.
Yeah, 25 and above.
Yes, you're right.
All right, I actually think this is not easy, but you know, it's
10 of them. So let's see.
I'm gonna say Russ. Russ is definitely in there. James Harden's definitely in there.
Yep.
Paul George is definitely in there.
Yep.
I hate to say this, but I'm almost 100% sure my boy Dame Lillard is in there.
Yep.
You guys are wrong for that. Jimmy Butler has to be, because you know
he is.
It's Jimmy, man. Definitely Chris Paul.
Yep.
Because it's Chris Paul. He's probably not on the list, but your boy LaMarcus Aldridge and your boys DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge.
LaMarcus Aldridge is not on the list,
but
DeMar is.
Oh, that's brutal.
I know.
Fair enough, I guess.
Man, he got messed. He got given the man.
Poor DeMar.
I know, bro.
You know, DeMar DeRozan was a couple years too late. You know, they always say some guys are too early. He's actually too late. It's like the league evolved without him.
Yeah.
And he stayed in that Kobe Bryant era where it's like that pull-up 18-footer jump shot, good footwork, you know, getting to the line. It's just actually to me an old man's game, even though it's probably dated to maybe 15 years ago.
Same thing with LaMarcus Aldridge as well.
Oh, yeah. He's well in that camp. He's like a very, 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 very poor version of Tim Duncan. I'm talking like a very poor version. I won't touch Timmy because Timmy's a legend over in San Antonio.
Hey, rest in peace, man.
Well, golly, did he die?
No, like tonight, hopefully he's just sleeping in peace. I don't want him sleeping, you know? I don't want him.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Timmy, I hope you sleeping, dreaming good dreams, man.
Yeah, I don't want him to have like crazy stuff going on.
That 2014 finals, man. I hope you're dreaming that. I'm missing 3. I think I was gonna say somebody. I forgot. I literally am blanking on it.
There's one that you should definitely know that you haven't said yet, but he's.
I was gonna say like Kemba Walker or Gordon Hayward.
No,
one of those boys. Neither of those boys. Giannis definitely is gonna be on that list.
He's on it.
Yeah, he's a bona fide. Like, hey man, how did you not?
There's 2 more that I definitely. Yeah, it's. I feel bad for these guys.
Their legacy is tarnished. Wow, that's just
Not tarnished, but I guess you'd say that they need a ring to help with to save their
themselves.
legacy.
It's gonna be Kyrie.
No.
Oh no, he has a ring.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know on the last few. Then that's a tough one.
The other one's gonna be Carmelo.
Oh, yeah,
and
fair.
the other one is gonna be Blake Griffin.
Well, the thing is, Blake, nice. I'm glad you put him in there. Blake, he's not that bad. All them people saying he's bad, he's not that bad.
I honestly love Blake Griffin. I wish he would get a ring. But
same. I'm sure he does too.
And what's crazy is, man, these guys, like, it's like as an NBA player, you're like, man, I want a ring. Like, that's their goal, to get a ring. But then you're in a team and you have kind of no control over that, and you're just like, man, what do you do? Do you move like LeBron and all these guys, or do you stay and wait for someone to come, or like for you to bring someone?
I'll give you the answer.
Talk to me. Give me the answer.
You absolutely move and go get a ring with LeBron.
Well, let me tell you this.
Depending on where you are in your career, yes.
What do you think about James Harden? Because James Harden has just said, I was looking on Twitter, he was saying that I'm with Houston. Like, I'm not leaving Houston. Do you think that he should leave to try to get a ring, or?
I mean, it depends. I know he's a big strip club guy. It depends on the city, I guess. For him,
yeah, fair.
For him, no. I mean, you at this point, they need. It's not up to him. It's definitely up to the organization.
Yeah.
James Harden definitely wants to go win a ring, and he has a decent shot in Houston, but he just doesn't have enough guys there.
Do you like James Harden's game?
I'm not a big fan. I'm not gonna lie. It's fun when it's really clicking. To me, I know some people hate it, but when he's like on scoring like 38, 39, 40 points, it's kind of fun. It's not like Miami's 27 game win streak fun, but it's fun.
To be honest, I rather see Steph and Clay's good game, or how they play, rather than Harden's game, which, even though it's still kind of similar to what Harden does as well.
Sure. To me, it's like LeBron's best game will always be like more beautiful than anybody else's best game.
Yeah, that's true.
Because when he's at 100, like he's at that 100 out of 100.
Hey,
LeBron,
congrats, bro. Lakers won.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Shouts to the Lakers, all Lakers fans out there. I always say, wherever I go, just as a disclaimer, if the Seattle Sonics come back, which they definitely will, I will immediately say, can you bleep this? I will immediately say, fuck the Lakers. I can't stand them. Like, immediately. Like, everything about them, I'll be like, nah, I'm out.
I'm not going to bleep this, bro. I'm going to leave it on. I'm going to put the E on this podcast.
I honestly don't care as well. So
that's good, bro.
If I'm being honest. So
wow, that's actually huge, because I wouldn't ever think that you would say that to the Lakers if Seattle Supersonics came.
I'm a Sonics fan. I've always been a Sonics fan. It's just once they left in 2008, I was always a big Kobe fan.
What was the reason why they left?
Oh, it's a whole thing. Howard Schultz, CEO of Starbucks, wanted to sell the team, sold it to this guy, I think his name's Tony Bennett. Bennett said, we'll keep the team if they rebuild the stadium. They ended up not getting the funding, even though literally every other city in the country will pay for Las Vegas paid for the freaking Death Star. Like, it wasn't, none of the Davis family paid for it because they broke as hell, apparently. It was the city. But Seattle couldn't get across the legislation or whatever it's called to pay for the stadium. So Tony Bennett had a clause that said, I can leave if we don't get a new arena. And he's from Oklahoma City. So people thought hey man, if we don't do this, they gone. And they were right. It was devastating, but hey, if the Sonics come back, if and when, I'll say when because I believe they will. I gotta jump back to my boys. I was always a big Sonics fan.
Do you think they'll add more teams to the NBA, or do you think they'll just move a team to Seattle? Like, do you think they'll add an extra team?
I was reading and listening, and people say, it'd be good to, or potentially eventually they would add LV, Las Vegas, and Seattle, which actually makes the most sense if you take a step back and go,
Sure.
what two cities make the most sense? Absolutely those two. So that's actually not, to me, a hot take or anything.
Yeah.
But would teams move? Maybe if some of these broke-ass Midwest teams need to get rid of the team, like far out.
That's the thing about
I
San
can see it
Antonio,
happening.
bro. Like San Antonio, great coach, man, has had a great legacy, but the city is just like, I love the city. Don't get me wrong. Like I love San Antonio, like the Mexican culture that's there, like just that. But like
Schlitterbahn there as well.
Schlitterbahn, but like it's just kind of that. Like you have the Riverwalk, you have cool places there in the downtown, but it's not like these other cities that you have that have like massive stuff. Great things happening in the cities and all that. This is just like San Antonio. Don't get me wrong, love San Antonio, but that's one of the downfalls for the Spurs is that no one wants to go play. LeBron ain't gonna go move to San Antonio. You know what I mean? Like
No.
they want to go to. He wants to be in LA. He wants to be Brooklyn or New York. These other like really big cities.
100%.
Yeah, that kind of sucks, man. That's
and if I'm being honest, the evidence is like what other professional sports teams are in San Antonio. It's literally one.
Yeah.
It's literally one. So, to me,
that's why you gotta get those guys from other countries to come because they'll be like, yeah, I want to come to the U.S. and they'll be in San Antonio,
and they'll be like, where am I? Like, where is freaking the
Alamo?
Where's the Walk of Fame, man? What is this? All these like Russian dudes, like what?
Bro, the Seahawks, bro. Talk to me about the Seahawks. Are you excited? Are you stoked? Or are you pissed off? Or what's going on? What's your thought process for them?
I'm excited when the offense is on the field. I want to rip my freaking vocal cords out and throw it outside every time the defense is on the field. Pete Carroll, a defensive guru at USC and now at Seattle, especially in the defensive back category, they are giving up 360 yards per game right now through the air. Wow. That's not total yards. That's through the air. The air. The next closest team, the Atlanta Falcons, are giving up 310 yards per game through the air. So I just want everyone to know they are on track to break a record for most yards allowed in a season.
That's crazy,
through
bro.
The air. I just want everyone to know that. That's how I feel about the Seahawks defense at the moment.
Bro, go ahead.
Atrocious. I was just saying they are atrocious. Absolutely atrocious.
I'm loving watching Metcalf, bro. That guy, like.
Yeah, imagine like Steve Rogers when he got thrown into the little machine and got pumped out of there and he was just all yoked.
Yeah.
Imagine if that guy got thrown into the machine and came out even bigger.
Yeah, wow.
And that's DK Metcalf.
Bro.
And obviously throw a little melanin on his skin.
Yeah. That's fire, bro. Yeah, definitely.
He's amazing.
Who do they have next? Who are they playing next?
The Seahawks are playing. I should know this because we literally just recorded this yesterday. They're playing at home. Who are they playing? I think the Dolphins. No. The Dolphins are playing the Rams or like somebody else. Oh, they're playing the Rams. Bro. They're playing the Rams. Seahawks are playing Rams, and I have a bad feeling about it. They made Jared Goff look very just. Oh no, they haven't played them yet. I thought they played them. Oh, that was San Francisco. I'm thinking of.
Bro, how about
play the Rams?
How about the Cowboys almost beating the Steelers, bro?
I feel bad for Ben. Who started? Garrett Gilbert, Texas Longhorns own Garrett Gilbert. I still remember this. Hey, I don't know if you remember this. I remember this. Texas played Alabama in the national title game. I'm not even looking at notes for this. This is how well I remember this. They played Alabama in the national title game. Colt McCoy is the starting quarterback.
I hated that dude, bro. I hated Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy off a blitz gets hit in the backfield on a sack. I can't remember the guy who hit him. And lands directly on his shoulder. And it's like the saddest thing ever. Everyone's gasping. Like, oh, no. And Colt McCoy literally can't even like throw. He's crying while he's trying to throw it to it. His dad comes down from like the stands, makes it super dramatic.
No.
He's trying to throw it, and he literally can't. He's crying trying to throw it. And who do they throw in there? None other than a freshman quarterback, Garrett Gilbert. And that's what I remember about. Like, that's what I know about Garrett Gilbert. Right. I've barely seen him since. I know he played for the Browns for a little bit.
Bro,
so
what happened to Colt McCoy?
Colt McCoy was a journeyman. And he had some moments with the Washington football team, now that we call them. We do not call them that disgusting other word.
He who will not be named.
That team that will not
be
named.
That will not be named.
Absolutely not. Or, them Native Americans are going to come after your ass. You better watch it.
Yeah,
sure. But, yeah, Colt McCoy, he bounced around. And I'm pretty sure, because this is how this happens with all these quarterbacks. They bounce around for a while. And then all of a sudden, they're like the OC for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It just always happens this way. I don't know why. I think I saw Kevin O'Connell is the OC for the Rams or something right now. My gosh.
So for those that don't know, Chris is part of a podcast, the 3 Average Sports Guys. Is that the before or just average?
No, just 3.
3 Average Sports Guys, right?
Yep, 3 average
sports guys. And they, I was able to be on their show. What was it? Far out last week.
Yeah,
and remember I said, I was like, bro, the Cowboys always surprise you every now and then with that one game.
100%.
And I was like, I mean, they did it to Atlanta, but I was like, bro, is this gonna be another one that they're gonna surprise us with the Steelers? I'm like, bro, we're gonna freaking destroy them, or not destroy them. We're gonna freaking stop them from having having like an undefeated record. And man, it was so close. I was like, bro, it's gonna happen. And if it was gonna happen, I was gonna call you right afterwards. But
I wouldn't have answered. I would not have answered, bro. It reminded me of, you played football in high school, right?
Yeah.
So like the scrimmage, the high school versus varsity, JV scrimmage.
Yeah.
It's just like you don't.
JV goes hard, bro. JV goes as hard as they can to try to.
They want to prove a point, like that freshman quarterback who's like 5'8", 120 pounds. He's all of a sudden he's turned into Russ Wilson. Just
bro, legit
pissing everybody off. And that's who the Cowboys were against, Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger sitting over there like, oh damn, like I got actually I gotta try right now. And Cowboys done pissed everybody off with that game.
Yeah.
But that's the Cowboys for you. They leave you,
Yep.
They're that team that's like, they're there to almost get you to that point, if you know what I mean. And then just leave you hanging. I'm
a Cowboys fan, Spurs fan, and them two didn't do well. The only team that did well this year for me was the Astros.
Didn't your lingerie football league team do well or no? I missed that.
I don't have a lingerie football team, bro. I don't do that kind of stuff. I'm a Christian, bro. Come on, man.
I'm gonna get you a job. I need to stop.
Shout out to the Astros, bro. They made it to the top 4 teams, even after the whole cheating scandal that came out this week or this past year. So
this week, nice.
Well, what's crazy though, like. Everything that's transpired, with the Astros in 2017, but then you also have the Red Sox that cheated as well in 2018. And some of their staff got fired as well.
Mm-hmm.
Their staff just got hired back on the Red Sox like yesterday. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm. I'm
like, bro, this is crazy. And now Lou that was with the Astros. He was the what do they call him?
Bench coach? Pitching coach? Hitting coach?
I don't remember. No. I forgot what he was, but he's now suing the MLB for all this stuff because he's he got he was the scapegoat that everybody kind of blamed it on him, and now all these other guys that got fired or let go are now getting their jobs back. Like even AJ Hinch, bro, he got hired, bro. I'm like, that was crazy, bro. I did not think that was gonna happen, bro. That was crazy.
Pulled a fast one on everybody. Shouts to AJ. Hey man, if you could
he's a good manager, bro. He's a good manager.
Hey man, if you could cheat and come back like that, cool. Like,
Yeah.
shouts to you.
I don't know, bro. I'm definitely stoked for this next base. Oh, by the way, George Springer denied our request for the 18 million for this next year. So I'm
Yeah,
not
I
sure.
would have too.
Yeah, I know, of course. Yeah. So I'm not sure what's gonna happen next. Hopefully they try to resign him or to get him, but I'm not sure if they will. Just with our salary cap and all that stuff, it's just not looking
Yeah.
well. But they might still try to get Brantley, who's definitely still okay. He's a good batter, but not as good
Yeah.
as George. What were you saying?
The only thing about becoming a free agent in any of these sports this year is like how much money is about to be out there. Like if I'm George Springer, I'm like, is there $18 million out there? Like from the revenue rates that we know of, all the money
He's a
lost.
good player though, bro. Like people are gonna be willing to pay. Like these freaking Dodgers, bro. They're one of the highest like salary cap in MLB for 8 years. Of course they're gonna win. You know, they freaking bought all the good players, of course, you know. So
why are you so salty, bro? You like be easy.
because
Hey, man,
bro,
they
yeah,
won fair and
that's how they
square.
win. So the Lakers and the Dodgers only won because they had a shorter season, and they had one of the highest salary caps too. So I was like,
You probably believe all that mail fraud, don't you, as well? Hey, you one of them. You are one of them, aren't you?
No, I don't believe in mail fraud, bro.
You know what's crazy about the mail fraud? So sorry to like triple back on this.
Go talk to me.
So my man Donald, my man DT, he's like, yo, hey man, Arizona, there's 180 ballots that were fraudulent. I'm talking 180. So my man goes, I'm going to pay all these lawyers. These lawyers about to be like, yo, 180 ballots were incorrect. We need to look into these ballots. We need to check them, that they're legal, and potentially they should be Donald Trump voters and not Biden voters. Okay. And if I'm the clerk, I'm like, oh, all right, okay. You do know your boy's down like 30,000 votes, right?
But sure, let's go and count them. I'll take the money. Go ahead.
But the clerk's like, yeah, I guess I could recount that. You know what I mean?
It's hilarious, bro.
It's just like, wait.
Well, you know what's funny? I was talking to one of my friends or one of my housemates here, and he was telling me that the only like other like countries that haven't yet said that Donald Trump is a new president are North Korea, China, and some other country. I'm like, of course that makes sense.
What a doozy.
In Russia. And it was Russia. In Russia.
What a beautiful trio of countries and leaders, eh? Oh man, the three that imagine Donald's like, hey man, I know all these leaders have said, but hey man, Vladimir, Kim Jong, and my boy Yi,
bro. Kim Jong is back, bro. He was gone for like a week, bro. They didn't know where he was. They thought he was gonna be dead, but he's back.
I swear, every other week, there's like hey, Kim Jong Un's disappeared, and we don't know where he is. It's like, why is American media telling me this, and like North Korean media is nowhere to be found?
They're quiet, bro.
On these things. So
they're quiet.
But my man Donald, hey man, if you want to spend all the millions, trying to, for them 180 ballots, hey, more power to you, bro. I just hope that money trickles down into the education system or something.
Come on.
Let's put some use to this. And hey, more power to you, DT. Go for it. Bro. I'm all, speak your truth, homie.
I recorded the speeches that Tamala and Joe. I'm calling them by their first names because that's how we roll here. You know what I mean? They're the G's. They're.
Hey man, I think it's right to call them by their first names at this point because we voted for them, and in a sense we feel close to them. We feel like obligated.
And I'm hoping, bro, like legit, I'm hoping, man, there's gonna be some change. Like we voted for y'all. Like please, let's start making some changes. Let's start bringing unity to this country. Like,
yeah, why is weed still illegal in a quarter of the country,
bro? And why are people still in jail because of having weed? That's the biggest thing too.
Let them go.
Let them go, man.
That's more voters.
I think Texas is close to making weed illegal too. Oh,
and why? Yeah, the governments would be still. These are the things. Like, if you really look at it logically, it's like, hey man, as a government, we can make a lot of money off of weed. Look at Cali.
Legit. They're taxing
Cali
it,
over
bro.
there making a killing over there.
Bro, they're taxing it.
And that's why I'm like, what?
Of course, guys are still selling it in like in the
That's the
city
thing.
on the corner, like hey, you know, it's weed. I'm like, nah, I'm good, bro. But
So
it's like,
Joe
nah, I'm gonna pay for it when it's taxed, bro.
yeah. No,
I'm
Joe
just
over here said that, hey, man, there's these weed lobbyists in the Texas courthouse. Like, hey, man, we don't want it legal here. We that joint need to stay illegal.
Bro, it's
That is
yeah,
so
some of these
funny.
things that just don't make sense, bro. I don't know.
What you think about the cocaine and being like and heroin
Oh,
being
in Oregon?
decriminalized? Yeah,
Is that in
yeah,
Oregon,
yeah.
right?
Well, yeah, Oregon. I think that's like long overdue. Call me crazy and not a Christian. That's fine with me. But man, I think that's long overdue.
Yeah, man. I was thinking about that because I saw that. I was like, man, I didn't even know that was like a thing to try, that there were people who were trying to do that. I don't know too much about it, so I can't really talk too much about that. If you know more about it than I do, maybe explain a bit more, because I don't really know too much of, like, I do know like they decriminalized it to where it's now like not so much as of a felony, right? It's just more of like it's more of a what's the word? Like they'll do like $100 charge or whatever. Like it's not as bad as it was, which oh, but I actually did look at some stuff about it. They are trying to what they're going to do is figure out ways to help them to, like, with putting them in a program and stuff like that, rather than just putting them in jail and having them pay millions of dollars or thousands of dollars, whatever, which I think is great because we need that. Like, why are we going to try to like put people in jail and just like leave them there and not help them? You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And you're right. It's
Yeah, okay.
decriminalizing the use of, if you're found with small amounts of heroin or cocaine. So if you still got like a bag of cocaine, yo ass about to be in trouble still.
Yeah.
So just don't have them like them bread loaves of cocaine, as long as you're not carrying them around you. But yeah, you're right. It's meant to, if you are caught with it, it's meant to, send you to, basically, there's like a certain word. Damn, my voice just cracked. I'm 30 years old.
Bro, it happens, man. Whenever your mouth gets dry and you keep talking for a long time, it happens, bro. So don't worry about it. It happens to me all the time.
Oh, yeah. So you'll get a misdemeanor charge, first of all.
Okay.
And then they help you with addiction. Like there's like
That's
an
great.
addiction assistance, which I'm like, if you take any sort of addiction, I'm talking pornography, or I guess that's the big one. Alcohol.
Everything, bro.
Alcohol is one of those other things,
Coffee,
like if you don't
food,
get cough,
lifting weight or exercising, it's all.
Yeah. So hear me out. Generally, if you got an addiction to something, it's like, and you get in trouble, you get caught doing it, like by somebody, or somebody calls you out for it. It's like, hey man, here's the steps. This is how you get
Right.
better. We're gonna send you to this thing, and they're gonna tell you how to do it. Like you're gonna be a safe environment. It's not to say that you might not mess up again.
It's anonymous.
It's anonymous. All these things. And we're gonna get you some help. That's great. That's awesome. But imagine if it's like, yo, you just got caught drinking alcohol. We're gonna send your ass to jail. It's like,
You're going to jail for years, and you're gonna pay massive amounts of money as well. Nah, bro.
Yeah. And so I'm like, hey man, I'm all for help. Like,
Bro, legit.
Bring it back to the Christian thing. Jesus came here to save the lost, the broken, the poor, the hurting.
100%, bro. Look, all in all, at the end of this whole conversation,
sorry, go ahead.
all in all, at the end of this conversation, we're Christians and we believe, in God, and we believe that Jesus died on the cross. And like, we went to Hillsong College, studied, leadership, theology, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, we believe, but we also believe that we're called to walk the journey with people. And like, if we're not willing to do that, what are we willing to do? You know what I mean? The Bible says this, bro. I always use it all the time. I'm always going to use this for discipleship. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, let's go. We're about to start preaching. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, the love chapter, love is patient, love is kind. But what does it say in the middle of that? It says that love endures to the very end. And the word endure, depending on the translation that you're using and all that, it's not a positive connotation. It's negative connotation. But love enduring to the very end, meaning, hey, I'm gonna walk this journey with you till the very end. If it's gonna cost me money, it's gonna cost me time, it's gonna cost me all these different things. Maybe like being so tired of work from the day, but still gonna go after work and get a coffee with you to just see how you're doing and all that, or give you a call. It's gonna sacrifice. It's gonna cost some stuff, but it's worth it because that's what we're here to do. We're here to walk the journey with people. And if you're not willing to do that, reassess yourself, pray, ask God, and help, and we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? And I just think, man, people do not understand sometimes that it's gonna take some endurance. It's gonna take some sacrifice. I don't know why this keeps blocking.
No, you're good. And just on top of that, like, oh, did it stop recording?
Yep.
Oh, you're gonna have some editing to do, dog. The verse, the these three remain: faith, hope, and love. The greatest of these is love. I'm like, I always think of it this way. And I was talking to a friend about this as well. It's like, with faith, at the end of our days, you can't take, if we go to heaven, you can't take faith with you. Like, faith at the end of the day is, it does have an expiry date one day. Cause like, to get to heaven, do you need faith? I guess in a certain sense, but once you're in heaven, it's like, what does it do for you then? It's like money. Yeah. It's like, who cares how much faith you had then? If you're in heaven, it's like, yeah. And the same with hope. It's like, hope is a very earthly, beautiful term. It's like, man,
you're waiting for something. Yeah.
For the future. I hope this presidency turns out really well. I hope all these things. But then once you're in heaven, it's like, hope is kind of useless at that point because you're in heaven. It is what it is. The one thing that is the most important of these is love. And I think it's because once you're in heaven, love still matters.
Yeah.
And like, it's a good point you make. Like, the way that you love other people and love, your wife, your children, your friends, family, and God as well. It's like, that has the most profound effect in the long run. And so, and love is not perfect. Like, love doesn't mean be perfect. Like, you have to be like this perfect thing. It's like far out. Loving somebody is ugly. It's nasty sometimes. It's like,
it is, bro.
Telling them things that they don't want to hear sometimes.
Yeah.
It's telling yourself things you don't want to hear, or somebody telling you off for something. Like, that's love.
Yeah.
Love is not this beautiful, sexy ass, like all the time thing. It's like, it has its moments where you're just like, oh, far out. It's something I just got to choose every single day. And yeah, man, like, I don't like the whole, when we were in college, like, love, it's this whole romantic thing, which is quite romantic, but there's this whole romantic idea of like, I'm gonna fall in love with Joe and it's gonna be perfect and we're gonna have the most beautiful life.
I'm waiting for my wife, man. Where's she at?
Oh, this guy. But it's like, man, Joe got issues too, just like you. And so
I got issues. What's the song? How's the song
You got them too.
You got them too.
Yeah.
That's fire, bro.
Oh, bro, you still got that nice voice too. Okay. Heard it first.
You heard it here first, y'all.
But yeah, it's like, it's not perfect. I can even say this. I love my wife to death, but there are moments where it's not perfect and it's just kind of a messed up, it can be messed up at times. Not often, but it's like, it happens.
Yeah, legit. That's good, bro. I think we're going to end on that. We've had a great podcast. So many things we talked about, but at the end of the day, we go back to, the thing that Chris and I hold dearly to ourselves, and that's our relationship with God, but also our relationship with people. And, I think, if we're not living our lives to the standard of a Christian, feel free to call us out. But more than that, like, we're willing to sacrifice so many things for people. And I know that for Chris, because Chris has done so much in my life, like just even like, bro, I must get all sentimental, but even like just in college, like the struggle that we had, you had your struggles, I had my struggles, but we were able to help each other out. The Bible says that we sharpen each other, and it's important and it's needed. and it's great to build each other up. And I think, I definitely, Chris, wanted to say, like, thank you for that. Thank you for helping me through that, because there were so many times in my life there in Australia that I wanted to quit, I wanted to give up, but you were there, and that's what I think that's what Christianity is all about, is walking the journey with people and being there for people, and showing that love to people.
Yeah, totally. And likewise, man, like, that isn't to say that, I want everyone to know Joe is one of the best dudes, and somebody who's had a profound, no joke, profound effect on me in terms of, and this isn't that biblical, but just not caring so much about like all the outside noise, which is actually a lost art. People care so much about, what people think about them that it's crippling at times. And
Legit.
you end up 2 years down the road thinking, oh, who am I? Like, what did I, like, who am I again?
Bro.
I've become somebody else that I'm not, definitely not. And somebody like Joe is one of those, good compasses where it's like, man, somebody's so comfortable with who they are. Obviously there's things I'm going to guess you're like, oh, this isn't the best or whatever. That's besides the point. You've accepted those things. And I actually really admire just your courage and doing stuff like this, and just the way that you love on people, man. And honestly, those are the types of things I look for, just the way people treat others. And to me, that says everything. And the way that you've treated other people, and even myself over the years, has been awesome, flawless, and in a sense, inspiring in a lot of ways. And so I really admire that about you, man. And love that we still talk. For the people that don't know, Joe's been gone. I haven't seen Joe in,
bro,
what's the last time I saw you? That'd have been 2017 sometime.
Yeah, 2017. Had to have been in March, because that's when I left. 2017. Yeah. So it's been almost I'm playing almost 4 years, bro. It'll be 4 years in March that we haven't seen each other.
And knowing like you went back home, struggled there for a while, and the fact that you had the audacity to be like, I'm moving to San Francisco,
the most expensive city in the whole freaking country.
Yeah. And actually doing
here.
it,
yeah.
Most people would to be too chicken shit to actually do it. So
Yeah.
actually, props to you, and I think it speaks to your courage, and your trust that things, God, is good. And
trust me, daddy. Yeah.
Trust the daddy. So you're the man, bro. Honestly,
Thanks, bro.
I've been so pissed off this whole conversation because I have that stupid Astros hat this whole time. That's the only complaint I have about this whole thing.
That's
I just
fair,
want to
bro.
throw that out there.
Shout out to the Seattle Mariners, man.
Hey,
hopefully they
easy.
do well next year.
Yeah,
We'll see what happens.
Probably.
But yeah,
won't.
Chris, legit, bro. Love you with all my heart, man. Always a best friend of mine for the rest of my life, and
Likewise.
You'll be invited to my wedding someday whenever I get married. Sorry I missed your wedding, bro. I do apologize. That's whenever I was trying to get a job. You remember that? I was in the middle of trying to get a job in that, so I wasn't able to go. But it's the thought that counts. You invited me. I love it. But legit, bro. Love you.
All good, bro.
We'll do anything for you, and please come visit me. I'll go visit you sometime soon as well.
Hey, man, you might be seeing me soon. I'm trying to get home for a little bit. So
come through, bro. Come through. I'm gonna be in Texas for a bit, coming up soon. So if you're coming during the holidays, let me know.
Potentially holidays. If not, I think around March, April time.
Let me know, bro, because we're still gonna be working from home, so I can even go to Seattle and hang out with y'all for a bit and work from over there as well.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Bet. It's a thing.
Cool, bro. Love you, man. We'll chat soon.
Love.